Welcome back to Access Anime. My name is Henshin Ikeda, and today I'll be doing a walkthrough and review of Codebreakers episode 13. Now, if you remember from last episode, we see Toki actually saving the Prime Minister, and it looked like he saved the Prime Minister at first, or was about to, and then he starts toying with the Prime Minister, picking him up with his powers, putting him over the edges, saying, I could just end you right now. Like, father and son moment kind of went a little screwed up in my opinion, but eventually, he sets the Prime Minister free, and then we see the Prime Minister getting all freaking cocky. Well, what's that all about? I thought the Prime Minister was a good guy. No, he's not. In fact, he's like, good thing you didn't do this, because you know what? I think we're going to recruit your sister to become the next Codebreaker, probably. It's like, wait, so now you're threatening Toki, the one that actually saved you, with doing something to his sister? What kind of father are you? What kind of Prime Minister are you? Just putting that out there. But sorry, I digress. Moving on to a different scene with Miyazami. We find out Miyazami actually did not kill or defeat Rohi. In fact, Rohi is still alive. And we also find out Miyazami's a double agent for the Prime Minister, so he's not on Hitomi's side. He's still on the Prime Minister's side. So that's hitting us all at once now. So we do find out Rohi is alive. In fact, we get to see Rohi versus Yokihina. Interesting fight, but the end result being Rohi is the clear-cut winner, even though Yokihina probably could have won if Yokihina didn't run away. So Yokihina did run away, sadly, so we don't get to see the end result there. Now, moving on past that, we are taken to a different scene with Hitomi. Now, we find out in a different scene before we get to Hitomi that Yuki jumps in, destroys a van that's controlling all the bombs, technically. So now all these bombs cannot be detonated automatically. So they were preset to detonate. Now they can, because the van controlling all of them have been destroyed. So again, we are taken back to Hitomi, and Hitomi now, he knows this has happened. He knows everything now. He's up to date with everything. So he's like, you know what? I'm going to manually detonate all these powers since we're at Sky Tower. And he's an electric user, so he's going to manually detonate all the bombs throughout Japan with the tower and his power. So it makes sense. However, we are taken to a different scene with Ogami, and he snaps out of being lost. That's right, Ogami is back. And we're seeing this brand new power come right out of him. And we don't know where it comes from and how he woke up from being lost, but there it is. So we're about to see Ogami versus Hitomi. And again, that's where the episode ends. And I'll hold my final thoughts and my rating at the end of the clip, so stay tuned. But let's dive right in. Now, we open up this scene not exactly where we left off with. In fact, it's a flashback. So we get to see Hitomi versus Ogami in a training little flashback, and they're using wooden bokens, which are swords made out of wood. And again, we see Hitomi actually winning, but it's nostalgia because we get to see them buddies, they're friends still, and this is their flashback, of course. So it was interesting to see. Now, of course, moving on past that, we are taking to a different scene with Hitomi versus Ogami in the present, and they're fighting each other. And again, Ogami, we see his power, and it's so overwhelming. Hitomi did not see this coming. He was very stunned. He was shocked. He's like, wait, I thought you were lost. Where's this power coming from? And it's like just all at once. And again, we get to see Ogami's true power. Now, while they're fighting, we do see Rohi and Toki jump right in and save Sakura, as well as attempt to space out Ogami and Hitomi per se. They're trying to give them their own battlefield without getting Sakura involved. I thought it was at least interesting to see them at least do something. At the same time, we do see Yuki jump in as well and stop, I guess, one of Hitomi's attacks from Ogami. I don't know why Yuki decided to finally jump in and do something, but it was nice seeing Yuki for that little time. But again, we do see Ogami versus Hitomi, and it's an amazing fight. It is an amazing fight. At least that's what it was made out to be. Now we are taken to a different scene with Miyazami, and he is just sitting back doing absolutely nothing, while the other Codebreakers at least did something. So I guess Miyazami's whole, whatever you want to call it, he's done with. His little part in this little fight, and this little thing in general, whatever you want to call it, is done with. So he's just sitting back doing nothing. I'm surprised he wasn't going to sit back on his table or chair he usually sits at and drinks his cup of tea, but no, we don't get to see that. He just sits back and he's just watching the fight like a spectator. So that's where we're at there. And again, we are taken to a different scene with Ogami, and Ogami steps up and he takes out Hitomi, and I was like, finally, this is what we wanted to see. And we see Ogami actually saying burn. So he's burning Hitomi, and eventually Hitomi is defeated already? We didn't get to see this battle drawn out. It was just open-ended. It's like, okay, you're done. You're defeated. You're done. Hitomi, you're gone. Like, really? Already? Wow. But again, Ogami is the clear-cut winner and Hitomi is defeated. And then Ogami passes out. He's not lost, but I guess all of this power he was using, all this energy, whatever you want to call it, his ability, I think he overused it, so he passed out. So I guess, yeah, I kind of saw that coming. Now we are taken to a different scene with Hitomi, and we find out Hitomi is now in the stages of being Code End. And if you do forget what Code End is, it's when a Codebreaker is overwhelmed by their own power and it consumes them, so they no longer can be lost. So instead their power consumes them and eventually it kills them. So that's where Hitomi is at right now. So he's at the Code End stage. So it kind of makes sense. And again, his power is consuming him, so his electric ability is turning on him. Even though he's not dead yet, but he's been defeated by Ogami. Now we are thrown with a lot of information, or at least a little bit of information from Hitomi. We find out after Hitomi was, well, apparently driven away by Eden in general, like that little scene where we see from his past where he was trying to talk with the Prime Minister, but he was driven away from Eden. We see that little cutscene, I guess, and he basically is showing symptoms of being, well, Code End. So we find out he knew he was at that Code End stage the whole time after he attempted, well, he didn't attempt to assassinate the Prime Minister the first time around. He was just trying to talk with the Prime Minister, but that really didn't go well, and, you know, Eden ended up turning on him and driving him away. But we find out, well, Hitomi already knew he was at the stages of being a Code End. So, like, he already knew, and he was just trying to prevent that this whole time. It's like, wow, I did not know that little bit of information. I mean, I thought this is the first time we get to see him at Code End, but no. Apparently he had Code End before. He was just trying to fight it off. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene. Again, Hitomi versus Ogami. It's not done. That's right, Hitomi is back up, and he wants to take out the Prime Minister. Still, he's not done. He's got a little power left. And then we see Ogami, even though he was passed out, no, he's not passed out. He gets right back up, and he starts punching Hitomi. That's right, they're not using powers. There's no abilities. It's just Ogami punching the hell out of Hitomi. You're like, what? But hey, it was worth watching. I mean, I got a couple laughs, a couple kicks out of it, you know, it was interesting. But, you know, that's where that's at. Now, again, we do see Hitomi's power turning on him, and I don't know why he's even attempting to fight Ogami right now, but he is. And again, Hitomi's power is taking him over. And again, all the codes are breaking. The code breakers come out, and they're trying to aid Hitomi. All these code breakers are trying to save Hitomi now. Like, it's like an awe type mode, like, aw, they're his real friends. Even though he's been such an ass throughout the series, he's the villain now, they still see him for what he is, but they want to save him, so they're trying to help him. So all the codebreakers are trying to save him. So that was definitely interesting. Now, there is this huge moment we get to see, like an epic moment, an emotional moment between Ogami. And so we see Ogami in a different scene, and he feels Hitomi is dying. He doesn't, we see Hitomi, he's dying slowly, but he doesn't want Hitomi to die in vain. He feels that he is going to die in vain, but he doesn't want that to happen. But, there's nothing really Ogami can do. But it was an emotional scene just to hear, what Hitomi had to say versus watching Ogami go through this. I mean, this is your mentor. This is your friend. Now he's your villain, and you don't want to see him die in vain, But it is what it is. Now we are taken to a different scene with the Prime Minister. He appears out of nowhere, and he's looking down on the Codebreakers. He's literally looking down on them. And I can't explain this. I thought the Prime Minister was supposed to be this good guy, the protector of justice, or at least he worked for the government. I thought something, But after seeing him in the last episodes and at the end of the last episode, he's an arrogant SOB. He really is. He's looking down on the people he self-employed to protect everyone else. And why is he looking down on them? We do not know. We really do not know. Why is he looking down on them? He just is. And he's very conceited right now. He's an arrogant bastard. That's all I can say. But again, that's where we're at there. And again, he's talking down to them. But we are taken to a different scene with Hitomi. And guess what? Hitomi is seeing the Prime Minister up close, and he snaps. He goes after the Prime Minister. So Hitomi is not done. He gets back up and he snaps. Now again, he was stopped by the Codebreakers. All the Codebreakers stop Hitomi. I'm like, well, what happened to Ogami? I thought he was going to stop Hitomi, but no. We see each and every one of the Codebreakers that are there stop Hitomi from attacking the Prime Minister. I was like, no, let him kill the Prime Minister. I mean, this guy's being a conceited bastard. Let him kill him. I mean, but it doesn't end up happening, but he gets really close. Now, of course, we are taken to a different scene, and we see the electric bird. It looks like an electric bird or a phoenix when Hitomi dies, because Hitomi's now been defeated yet again, and it looks like Hitomi's dead. it's like a really shocking moment. I'm like, really? Codebreaker number 1 is now dead? And we see it looks like an electric bird or a phoenix in the background just when Hitomi's flame goes out, per se. His electrical ability dies and he dies. So it was a very emotional moment seeing Hitomi pass away. And that's really all I got to say about that. Now we are moving on past that to a different scene. Now we see Toki and he punches the Prime Minister. I was like, thank you, that's what I wanted to see. He literally punches the Prime Minister. And that was it. It was a small little scene. We see Toki punching the Prime Minister, and that's it. It was clear, and it was cut, and it was done with. Now we are taken to a different scene with Miyazami and the Prime Minister. They're in a, not a limo, but like a small car, and they're leaving the Sky Tower. So we see Miyazami, and he's in a car with the Prime Minister. And we do see, I guess, the Prime Minister praising him. So we see the Prime Minister praising Miyazami for doing a great job, for being a double agent, for saving him, and all that jazz. At the same time, they're talking about using Sakura to control Ogami. So you're hearing the Prime Minister basically saying this has been a setup from day one. I mean, we set up Hitomi to train Ogami, and then we brought in Sakura into the mix just so we can mature Ogami's power. And the only way we can control Ogami is with Sakura, and you're like, okay, so now everything's starting to make sense on why everything happened, like how it happened, I guess, if you want to call it that way. But it does make sense. And again, we do see the Prime Minister bragging about how he set everything up, how he brought Hitomi into the mix, how he brought Ogami into the mix, and how Sakura fits in all of this. So it makes sense. Everything has gone as planned. However, we are taken to a different scene, an interesting scene in my opinion, where we do see, the Prime Minister being attacked. They're in a car, there's no one around them, and it's interesting because he was attacked out of nowhere by, it looked like Hitomi's power. But just before we get to that scene, I don't want to get too much ahead of myself just before we get there. I want to point out, we do hear Miyazami stand up. He's standing up for the Codebreakers, per se. He's like, yeah, he wants to stand up for the Codebreakers because he doesn't like what he's hearing. But we do hear, it looks like the Prime Minister actually saying, the one being sought. It's like, who is the one being sought? We hear the Prime Minister talking about the one being sought. We don't know who that is. But again, we are taken back to the Prime Minister being attacked in his car, not by Miyazami. In fact, Miyazami's a little shocked. But we see the Prime Minister being attacked by what appears to be Hitomi's power, and he mentions something about being cornered by a rat. I guess he's referring to Hitomi when they got close. And again, the Prime Minister is dead, or at least it looks like he's dead, or he's been attacked so much that he's bleeding, and he's internally bleeding, so he's now dead. In my opinion, he's gone. And this is kind of ironic because it looks like Miyazami kind of saw this coming, or something like this, like figures, right? Hitomi had to have something into this, like the last words, the last something. So again, the Prime Minister's been defeated, or is dead, so it does look like Hitomi's last mission is a success. He did kill the Prime Minister before the Prime Minister can plan all this other crap that was going on. But again, we do hear from the Prime Minister the one being sought, so we have no idea what he meant by that. Of course, we are taken to a different scene with Hitomi. Well, not with Hitomi because, he's been defeated. He is dead, sadly, but it's with Sakura. So we're at Sakura's house, and it's the next day. And she's waiting up for Ogami, but he's not there. He did not come to Sakura's house, her residency, where she lives. So it's kind of interesting. Like, where is Ogami? We don't know. But we see Yuki appear, not Ogami. We see Yuki appear, and he basically tells Sakura, anytime you need me, just call. I will be here. Like, I'm sad that Ogami's not here. He's on a different mission, that kind of stuff. But, that's how it ended. It's like, that's kind of sad. But at least Yuki was there to say goodbye and say, I'm here for you if you ever want to talk. Something along those lines. Of course, we do see Rohi appear. And she picks Sakura up with, the motorcycle. And, she explains everyone's going to say goodbye, goodbye, that kind of stuff. And it was kind of an emotional moment where we do see Rohi blush. And again, Rohi's always been referred to as the prince, but Sakura calls, again, Rohi a girl, like a she. So we do know that Rohi is a girl, not a guy. It's just putting that out there. Rohi is a girl. And it was interesting. We do get to see Rohi blush and, drive off on her motorcycle and say goodbye in her own way. And we are taken to a different scene with Toki. Now, Toki basically meets up with Sakura, and they go on a bus, and he basically tells Sakura about what Ogami is now up to, that he's on a different mission now, and he didn't want to say goodbye, but he was there to kind of fakely hit on Sakura just to cheer her up, and it was kind of interesting. But again, they're on a bus, and it kind of snaps or clicks in Sakura's mind because she's passing an area. The first place that Sakura actually saw Ogami, take out all of those G Falcon members. So she tells the bus driver to stop, and she leaves, Toki on the bus. I guess that's her way of saying goodbye or something like that. And we see Toki smile, and she gets off the bus. Now, it gets kind of interesting because she gets off the bus and starts going to the first place where she saw Ogami at, and we see all these flowers everywhere, and it was from Ogami, but he's not there. And again, it was an interesting ending for the series at that point in time, but there is more. It doesn't end. Now, again, we do see Sakura with the flowers, and it was kind of nostalgia because this is the first place she saw Ogami at, and again, these flowers have to be from Ogami. But again, that's where it ends at. Now, for the end of the whole series, for the end of this episode, we see Ogami fighting someone near an airport or something like that, and that's where the episode ends. So we do see Ogami in one last battle just before it ends. And again, that's where the episode ends. Final thoughts? Well, first of all, we do know the Prime Minister was struck by one of Hitomi's powers, even though Hitomi's dead. But whether or not he's alive or dead, we don't know. I assume he's dead. But what did he mean by the one being sought? Unless you've seen the manga or something, a light novel, something from this, I have no idea what he meant by that in the anime series, the one being sought. We don't know. We really do not know what he meant by that. As for Ogami, where did he get this power? Where did it come from? We don't know. We really do not know. Seriously, we don't know. As for Sakura being a rare breed, is she going to be recruited to become another codebreaker? We don't know. We really do not know. Now, is Ogami done in this anime series versus Sakura? They're never going to see each other again? We don't know, but we do know Yuki promised Sakura that he's going to be there for her, or at least in contact. Rohi kind of feels the same way. Toki, yeah, he's always going to be around because his sister is in the same school as Sakura, so he'll always be around. As for Ogami, definitely don't know where he's at. I mean, he's gone. He's in his next mission. And final thought, one more out there, Eden. I don't think you're a good organization right now. I think you're going to be the villain in the next, if there's another season, you might be the villain in the next season. Now, moving on to final rating for the episode, I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5. The battles, the fights were limited to just Hitomi versus Ogami, but it definitely was there. I mean, we saw a little blood and gore, kind of, if you want to say that. We definitely saw bloodshed. But, it wasn't a really drawn-out fight, so I can't give a lot of props there. But still, the ending, seeing Hitomi eventually die after getting up so many times was, wow. Didn't see that coming. Now, again, moving on past that, we do see the Prime Minister getting taken out by Hitomi's power. Now, Hitomi didn't take out the Prime Minister directly, but it looks like he implanted one of his powers in the Prime Minister to take him out at some given point in time after he died, I think. But again, Prime Minister was taken out by Hitomi's power. At least that's what it looked like, ironically. But was there any emotional stuff for this, for me to give any points out? Yeah, I mean, we see Rohi blush, but that's not really an emotional part. But seeing the Codebreakers come together, that was definitely emotional, and I liked it. So, final rating for this episode, 4 out of 5. Final rating for this anime series, I probably want to give this a 3.5 out of 5. But, it definitely spoke to me, so I have to, what does it mean, spoke to me? I'm going to give this a 4 out of 5 as well. So, episode-wise, 4 out of 5. Anime series-wise, 4 out of 5. Definitely felt that. And again, that ends it for my final rating. And that ends it for my walkthrough and review of Codebreakers episode 13. But definitely comment down below, let me know, thumbs up, thumbs down, definitely subscribe, and let me know what you thought of this episode, and let me know what you thought of, well, I can't say what's on the next episode coming out with, but let me know if you think there's going to be another season, because if you think there's going to be another season, definitely comment down below, let me know in general, because I definitely have a lot to say. If there's going to be another season, guess what? I can't wait to find out. But it kind of doesn't feel like they're going to make another season, but I hope they do. But definitely let me know what you thought of at least this last and final episode. And again, check me out on Twitter and follow me if you like. But again, that ends it for now, and I have no more walkthroughs and reviews to do today that I know about, but I might have a live stream later on tonight. I know I said I was going to do one last night, but I kind of ran into a lot of stuff I needed to finish, so I didn't get to it, and there was another live stream that I was watching, so bear with me. Tonight I probably will have another live stream, so stay tuned. But again, guys, that ends it for now, and I have to go. I gotta hit the bricks, and before I go, I have to say it, and I always say it. You can't stop the access, but you can watch the feed. I'll see you later, guys.